My name is Ntsebe Mofokeng, and I'll be your MC for today. And I just want to say welcome. I know we had a very crappy weather, if I may put it that way, but I have to commend you for making it and honoring the invitation. I'm really honored. And the organizers as well, they are very honored that you actually honored the invitation. So our program is very brief. It's not a lengthy program. We will go straight to our first speaker. Then the first speaker is from the independent power producer. Then is Mr. Lazarus Mahlangu. So Mr. Mahlangu, may you please come and say your piece. Thank you.
My name is Lazarus Mahlangu. I am from the IPP office, the project management office for the DMRE. I think this morning I was going to be coming with two of our senior managers, and I suppose that one of them would have been standing on this podium this morning giving you a few words. So it also tells you that I have been thrown into the river. I think it's exciting to be here this morning. If you live in South Africa, you know where we are and you know where we come from. Some people say that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but where we are right now in terms of the power generation, power demands and supply, I would say we are still in the tunnel and we're still seeing a little bit of light. So being here this morning is part of the light that we see whilst we're still in the tunnel. I'm not sure how far we are from getting out, but we do need to reflect on a few things. This program was launched around about 2011. It was new for us all in the country, and we needed to respond with speed in terms of our carbon footprint. And I would say that our government did very well in terms of rolling out the renewable energy program. We did experience a few hurdles on the road, but we are back on now. We are responding with speed again, as it were. So we would like to thank the private sector and the investors in the way that they are responding to the call by our government to increase the power generation for this country. We are being overwhelmed, you know, as the office with the responses every time there is a call for proposal. So it tells you a great interest that has been shown by the market and by the industry. So the big part for us of this program is maybe not only just the megawatts that we're adding onto our grid, but it is the economic benefits that comes with it. Many people say that if it was not for the slump that we experienced a few years ago, the industry on its own would have grown much bigger than it is at the moment. But nevertheless, we see the trajectory that the government is committed to ensure that there is security of supply and there is growth in the IPP space. So we are looking forward to see more and more projects such as this one coming on stream, and also bringing with it, you know, the local content and the job creation and the local economic stimulation and development that all of us are looking forward to. Just to give an overview of the RE generation currently, I think we have just a little over 5,000 megawatts of renewable energy connected to the grid. And if you see the load shedding that we experience every day, you cannot help but think if it was not for the renewable energy projects, it would have been worse. So it's important to know that this program is playing a major role in the power supply, and as I've said, also in the local economic development. And we wish you all the best for those who are looking to invest in round 5. Is out and it's up and coming, and we know that this project is also going to be responding in some way. So we are seeing a growth in the country, and I think the light inside the tunnel and maybe at the end, I think is getting bigger and bigger, and I have to thank you.
I've learned from what you have said as well, and it registered, so it will stay with me. Where I remember at the beginning of this project, and it was new for me as well when it comes to the renewable energy, but I had a quite interest, and I said I want to learn more. And I think if the world is moving towards that direction, we're actually moving in the right direction, and we should be proud that we actually play the part in doing that. Then moving right along, we will move to the next speaker from First Fund. Then we have Mr. Craig, I hope I'll say this surname right, Craig Ansemino.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd just like to take you back 2 years, and we're in mid-2018. First, for those of you who are not familiar with First, we're a small-scale lender focused exclusively on renewable energy and energy efficiency. And we had been established through the cooperation between the German government and the South African government to create a funding institution to fund these types of projects, and particularly at the time, the Small Project IPP program. So the German Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development had provided the funding to set us up. The first facility, first loan we made was to this project. And it was an important time in our kind of establishment. People had mixed feelings about how successful we might be. And there we were speaking to then Building Energy, now Red Rocket, who had faced other similar challenges. They had a great project that they thought should go ahead, and they were struggling to get funding from the traditional funding markets. They had a strategy at the time to diversify Building Energy, to create a track record as an EPC contractor. And the banks were saying, we don't trust Building Energy to do the EPC. We want you to put in place a partnership with a larger established EPC. And looking back now, 2 years later, it's quite interesting. 3 of those 5 names they would have accepted are in liquidation. And Red Rocket have delivered a phenomenal project. And just to touch on, we got our money through the German-South African government cooperation. And that cooperation, that word cooperation, is so critical to the success of projects. You know, I've worked in this industry for a long time, and what I know now is nobody can turn around and say, I'm so proud of my project. Projects are the result of cooperation between lots of different people to make something work. And when we started, there were severe reservations about, can Building Energy make this work? And now 2 years later, I can stand here and say, not only have they made it work, they've made it work as well as anybody else could possibly have done, if not better. You know, they have faced challenges in the process that were completely, some were expected, like the delays on the licensing, and I'd like to give special mention to Monique, who had a really frustrating process getting that sorted out, really well done on that. They had challenges with the COVID, where suddenly they couldn't get on site, and at times where it really didn't help the project. And again, I'd like to kind of compliment Yaku and Michael in the processes that they, with an Italian team doing the turbines and a South African team doing the balance of plant and logistics, etc., they've delivered an incredible project. And then to say to Matteo, to Luca, Giacomo can't be with us today, is, guys, to do all this and then complicate it on top of it with doing a management buyout while you were doing it, that put a lot of stress on, I'm sure, in your lives. And I'm just saying, from first perspective, we'd just like to say it's been a privilege, and it's been a real honor to be involved with the project and to be a small part of making it work. And hopefully, a lot more to come, guys. Well done.
he mentioned one important aspect of working together or creating a network. And I believe that it is through the same network that this project became a success. Without partners, without a network that is in sync and having the same vision, driving to the same end results, has actually worked well for this project. And for that, really, we are thankful. Then the next speaker, I'll say is my boss as well. Then Mr. Matteo Brambilla from Red Rocket. Then can I also request from you, can we work together, because you have kind of a tasks that that I assigned to you. So can we work together throughout that? Okay, thank you.
Today we celebrate the launch of Red Rocket, Kruisvallei hydro facility, that reached COD on the 25th of February, almost 2 years after we started construction. The hallmark of this project has been the strength of collaborative efforts between our partners, Lotta here today, and everyone present here. To that end, I wish to acknowledge the presence of representatives of our service providers and project partners who have journeyed alongside us in bringing this project into operation. What we see here today is immensely special. It's an example of the possibilities we can create with the sincere efforts of many individuals and teams who have shared our dream. In saying that, we also have a notable absence. I would like today, in celebration, to acknowledge Eddie Ross of Eigenbau, who passed away in January this year. Not having seen this amazing milestone of commercial operation achieved, we value his contribution and tireless work on delivering this project in no small part. And in gratitude for his efforts, we have mounted a commemorative plaque here on the powerhouse, where we know Eddie found much joy. So for us, every contribution is valued as we build Red Rocket as a company. We also understand that in building a truly African IPP, our vision of creating meaningful impact, one project at a time, requires that we build and strengthen our relationship here and beyond. We are particularly proud of having built Kruisvallei, utilizing the talents of our team as a fully integrated business. Kruisvallei is the testimony of the creative and collaborative spirit of Red Rocket. We have managed to deliver the first of what we see as many projects, because while building this business, I believe we have focused on the people in building our company, this country and Africa as we go. What we aim to continue to deliver is audacious, sure, but what this project proves is that audacity can deliver impact. And now, I want you to better understand what Greg was saying. We took over this project between 2013 and 2014. We bid it in August 2014. We've been awarded preferred bidder in May 2015. At that point, we have a project that doesn't work. We had to redesign it. We had to resize it. We had to work a lot. 3 years after, we are called by the IPP office to sign the initial PPAs. And we have only 3 months after that, April in 2018, 4 months, sorry, to close it by July 2018. At that point, we have lenders on board. That 1 month later, they tell us, no, we cannot fund this project. You're not the right EPC contractor. And at that point, we say, minchia. And we say, guys, we cannot just leave it behind, this project. So we go and we sign with the government, with us as lenders, because first was not yet on board, and they were through their due diligence process. So we start building these projects as EPC contractor and as funders. And then the rest of the story, you know it. But today, we're here for this. Thank you.
The renewable energy basically was introduced by the government to assist Eskom in getting more generation from alternative sources to the Eskom grid. I think the importance is we are now having private participation, something Eskom has been a monopoly. Now we are having all players, government has now opened up, you know, like the energy industry so that private industries can also participate. Eskom is responding to government's call to get more energy players into, you know, the industry. So I think it's important because now we are getting different alternative sources of energy to the grid, so that it's not only Eskom that is, you know, if we have challenges with Eskom, we can also rely on other people. This one relying only on Eskom, I mean, if you look at it, things now, we are having challenges because we only relied on one entity. So bringing other players in, I think, is going to help us to deal with our energy crisis.
This Kruisvallei Hypo project is actually one of 3 hydro projects that we have within the Renewable Energy Independent Power Producer Program, which was launched in 2011. When the government launched this program, the intention was to ensure that we include the renewable energy in the generation, in the energy generation mix. And this project is part of Bid Window 4 that was launched, I think, some years ago. It's very significant in a sense that it contributes to the energy generation for the country. We know that we've been battling for a couple of years now in terms of our energy generation. So this hydropower plant, it adds onto the struggling grid to supply the demands for the country. I think the biggest component really of the power generation through this program is that of economic development, which ensures that there is employment for South Africans, but there is employment even more for people from the local communities. So most of these projects are located in rural areas, in outskirts places where probably there's no or low economic activity. So when a project like this comes into an area, definitely it inspires hope, because then it creates jobs and then it stimulates the enterprise development within the local communities. So these projects contribute a lot into economic development to ensure that there is significant black ownership into the project. There is also the rollout of socio-economic development into the communities to improve the education, to improve social welfare, and to improve the health system within the local community. There is greater benefits for local communities, and there is more benefits, I think, for South Africa in general through local procurement, local content, etc. First of all, congratulations to Red Rocket for holding on and making sure that they construct the project within time, and that they connect to the grid also within time, and that we are looking forward to see the economic benefits that have been committed in this project as we continue to do the monitoring and evaluation.
I'm Greg Ansavino. I'm one of the investment principals at the Facility for Investment in Small Renewable Transactions. It's a small lender that specializes in funding small to mid-scale renewable energy projects. It was an initiative that was set up by the German Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development through the South African government bilateral relationships. And we partnered with RMB to bulk up the funding, and RMB is our other kind of key partner in the business, and we provide loans to projects like Kruisvallei. I think for me, Red Rocket had a vision about where they wanted the business to go. And in particular, Matteo, Giacomo, Luca had this idea that they wanted to create a renewable energy business that was diversified, vertically integrated. And Kruisvallei provided an opportunity for them to test the model of whether they could do a full EPC delivery of the project not just work as developers. Once they'd taken the decision, they stuck with it, and they took a huge amount of risk in the process where they had no certainty that other finance was going to come in. And that was the one thing. I think the second thing is they got an excellent professional team together to deliver the project. And that's proved to be invaluable. The project kind of faced all sorts of challenges, some of them expected, some unexpected. You know, the government delays on the permitting is to be expected, but you never know how long it's going to last. COVID was completely unexpected. But throughout it, because they had the right people and the right kind of partnerships in doing the project, they've delivered an excellent project. So for FIRST, this was our first loan, right? And it was at a time when we were getting the business set up. We had raised funding from the Germans. The Germans have been incredibly supportive of making this happen. For the Germans, it was really important to see the proliferation of renewable energy in South Africa, and they had taken the initiative to provide the funding to us. And to be our partners at times when this market was changing around us. RMB came along, and they were the only commercial bank who was prepared to back us, and they put the facility in place. And then Kruisvallei came along, and everybody was going, okay, guys, this is a big kind of complex project to take on as the first project. Are you sure you want to do this? And we stuck with it. And you know, at the end of the day, the team at Red Rocket really delivered for us. And it's just been for us, I suppose, a privilege to be involved in the project and be able to be part of delivering the project.